Everything starts and ends with your self image. You will never rise above the level of your self image. And that's why it's so important for you to consistently work on building a positive self image. And if you have children, please, please, please make sure that you are working on building their self image and giving them a positive image of themselves. And why do I say that you'll never rise above the level of your self image? It's because your self image determines what you will achieve. So, for example, if you are a person who thinks of themselves as a small, then what will happen is that you will act small and you will do the things that affirm your smallness. And so you'll go after the things that are small, right? Because you already believe and you have this imprint of yourself that you are small. So basically, your self image is the concept that you have of yourself, the identity that you have formed of yourself. And whether it was something that came from you or that it was instilled in you in childhood. And very often, our self image is built in childhood. But obviously, as we grow up, as we grow older, we are also responsible for leaving the imprints that are there when it comes to our self image. For example, growing up and even now, I'll hear statements that are made by certain family members like, okay, that's not meant for us. We grew up poor, so that means that we were meant to be poor and will forever be poor. Just statements like that, and they don't sit well with me. And I think that's a demonstration of sometimes the image that we have of ourselves, that if you want to be somebody who is prosperous, let's say you want to be rich or you want to be a millionaire, multi-millionaire, a billionaire, but for as long as you see yourself in your mind's eye, the image that you hold is of somebody that is poor, that is doomed to live in poverty. You will never rise above that, right? Because you have set that level of for yourself. So your self image is basically like a thermostat, right? So in as much as you push, like sometimes, have you ever seen that where you are doing everything right, but there's just this level that you can't break beyond or you can't break out of. And very often it's because of the fact that you have a certain image about yourself. And these things come through the simple things that we say. We do it in passing to say, okay, no, I could never do that. And that is a sign of your self image. Because let's say maybe you are at Central City at the Diamond Walk and you see somebody buying, for example, let's use the Mont Blanc shop, an item, and immediately in your mind, or even you whisper it to yourself to say, oh no, I could never shop there, I could never walk into that shop and buy an item there because it's too expensive for me, like it's too expensive for my kind. So that is an image that you hold of yourself. And what it does is that it imprints those limiting beliefs. And so hence I'm saying that you will never rise above your self-image. And so then, because of that, and because of the fact that your self image acts as a thermostat on the level of your life, your job then is to consistently build a positive self image that is reflective of the image that you want to create or the life that you want to live. So, for an example, let's say, okay, you're trying to lose weight, and for lack of a better example, you are maybe a size 40 and you want to go down to a size 36 or a 34. The image that you have to hold in your mind's eye is that of a size 34, so that you can ultimately reach a size 34 by doing the things that are going to get you to a size 34. But for as long as you still hold yourself in the image of a size 40, it's going to be so much more difficult for you to get to a size 34. Because why? You will be doing what you've always done as that person who is a size 40. So you then have to actively change the image of yourself and actually step into the person you would be if you were a size 34, right? And Neville Goddard calls this living in the end. You actually have to take on the self concept and the new self identity of somebody who is a size 34, so that you can step into the habits and the actions and even the decisions of somebody who is a size 34. And that's how you will get there. And that's how you constantly reinvent and consistently rebuild your image each time you rise. So be aware of your self image and what you think about yourself, because what often happens is that we blame what's happening outside, we blame what other people do or say about us. We take on the reflections of what the external world and other people are saying about us without actually looking at the things that we are saying about ourselves that build the image that we hold about ourselves. And as I said, normally this is built in childhood, right? Because you would have heard what other people say about you, and then you internalize that. But as you grow up, you can actively change that by rebuilding that and taking on a new identity, so that you can break out of who you were, so that you become who you want to be. And this is important. I mean, in a previous lesson, I was saying that, if you are made in the image of God, then that means that you are God's child. And so, even that scripture around an image, it is telling you that your self image is one that is about being divine. And so, all things that are divine are good. And so, you need to be able to think of yourself as good, as worthy, as deserving, as one who is entitled to even prosperity, to have the audacity to rise, and to achieve. And so it's important to hold a positive image about yourself, so that you then can achieve those positive things that you are striving towards. For as long as you hold negative images about yourself, then life will drive itself to the image that you hold of yourself. So if you see yourself as a failure, that is what you will see in your life. If you see yourself as a success, that is what you see. And so, image, even the word itself, it's about vision, but not vision from the eyes, the physical eyes, it's your mind's eye. So, you need to consistently build a new vision. And when you do that, you must also correspondingly build a new image of yourself, so that you step into that image that you want to create, so that it becomes more and more natural to you.